Welcome back to part 2 of the first round of the 2021 Wyoming Classic here at Dry Creek Parkway in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I'm Coda. I'm here with Dale.
Thanks, Coda. It's been a pretty windy day here, and we're hitting the holes that are about middle of the field difficulty.
And we're starting to turn around and face the wind for the rest of the day, pretty much, or the rest of the round.
Pretty much. Got Tyler Liebman out of Fort Collins. Have a lot of low PDGA numbers from these guys. Marshall McGill out of Denver, Colorado.
Absolutely stoked.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, you know it's a windy day when players of this caliber are that excited over an inside the circle putt.
And Tyler Kirkpatrick, we decided to call him TK for the remainder of the rounds, as there's two Tylers.
Yeah. And then Joe Rovere.
And both of those guys are out of Arvada.
Yep.
They're probably used to playing with each other.
More than likely. Anybody that knows Colorado disc golf knows Joe Rovere, though.
That's true.
He's the one to watch out for. This wind's really chewing them up, though. All of them. So here's hole 10. Turns out that the creek is the OB line, not the path. And Joe breaking out his thumber. I guess he liked what it was doing for TK.
It's a pretty good shot. A little pinched off by the tree there, but inside the circle, looking for a 2.
Marshall was looking for some flip there. Didn't quite get it, though. TK breaking out his thumber again. It really is a great tool sometimes. I'd be nervous about it in this wind, but works out really well.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, that was a good roll.
Yep, a little short, but definitely looking at it. Probably right around circle's edge. Oh, you got that a little nose down. You could see it just get pushed down there a little.
This is a hole we're typically throwing putters at, but today was all like stable fairways, maybe a stable mid, if you were feeling ballsy.
Right. And by stable, at least like an MD5 or a drone or something. Oh, so close. He's had a pretty decent round. This course just doesn't seem to want to let him get any birdies. Oh, that headwind.
Lifted it just a bit.
Or it just held it up. I couldn't tell which, but definitely fought him. That means Tyler's probably a little... Oh, well, that was a good save.
No.
Oh.
A little nose down in that headwind. Pushed it into the cage.
Yep.
Seemed like another
trying to rush
putt.
it. Yeah, trying to rush it a little bit.
He might have felt a lull. Like, oh, the wind's down.
Oh, yeah. Trying to get it in before it picks back up.
An unfortunate bogey on that one, but he is not the only one. A couple people got that one.
Yeah.
Or that one got them, rather.
And none of the guys got the birdie, so he's not giving a ton up to the field. So here's hole 11. It's a pretty safe hole. It's pretty far away from the creek, so you just got to throw a hyzer and you're right there.
The real obstacle is the trees. They're very bushy, and they grab more than you'd think they would.
Well, and that wind is just really not blowing a good direction to let it get a lot of turn.
Oh, that was
just
great.
Kind of spikes down.
Don't have to putt. He's excited.
TK falling back on his go-to thumber here. Oh, that was a little bit crazy. Got all the way down there, just didn't go left at all. Tyler going with the high hyzer. They're actually going over the tree we usually go around, because look, that wind just pushing that disc back. It's really hard to get the disc to turn into that wind. Marshall went in between the two trees. Usually you do that, you're way off to the left. Looks like TK right on just outside the circle. And finally gets one in. From the knee even.
Oh, that's where the highlight came from.
Yep, that is where it came from. Oh, and a great putt from Tyler. We're looking at a possible star frame here. They're pretty excited about it too. Birdies are hard to come by in wind like this, so I would be too.
That's just fantastic.
Joe actually trying to be a wind block.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Nice star frame there.
Good job, boys. It's fun to watch.
A lot of green on the screen after that one. That's always good to see.
And Marshall's back down to even now, too. You know he's loving that.
Yeah, that's got to feel good. So here's hole 12, and in wind like this, this can be one of the most dangerous holes out there.
It was the fourth hardest hole on this round, even though I believe it's the shortest hole on the course.
If it's not, it's equal to, but the pond
left,
creek
right, and deep.
It really makes this a hard one to score on. Ooh, he got a lucky break. He'll get to keep that disc.
And that's still not a pleasant putt.
Over 30 feet out. That's a scary putt straight towards out of bounds and into a headwind. Looks like TK's risking the pond as well. Oh, and these guys are getting the lucky breaks.
I'm glad someone had some tree love on this hole.
All I can say is the pond must be full already. It didn't want any more plastic to eat. Tyler hugging that edge close too. He's safe.
Man.
Stayed safe on the bank
There's
there.
been a few of those today.
See if Marshall can get around that tree. That's more what you're trying to do. Get it out there wide, let it cut in.
Oh, man.
That's pretty much a gimme 3 at that point.
Yeah, and that was a good ace run.
Yeah. Yep, that was a smart play. Looks like Joe thought about it and then decided against it there at the last second.
Tyler's eyeing this down. Oh no.
He thought about it too. He was leaning out
see
pretty
how
far
close the
around
OB
those
is
bushes.
right there.
Yeah.
I would never.
Everybody just tapping in their pars. So, for the most part, that's a pretty straightforward hole, but
no damage done.
It can really bite if you let it. If you're not careful, it'll get you. So here we have hole 13, and it's just another big hyzer, but this one's straight into the headwind, almost perfectly.
And it's uphill.
And it's uphill, 310 feet, but it plays closer to 330, 340 at least.
Too high. That's going to get taken.
And he's probably over the basket somewhere around there.
Ooh,
and
got
all
pushed
the way back.
Way back.
TK trying to keep it a little lower. And still just couldn't cut through that wind enough.
He got too far left to get the window, too.
Yeah. Tyler has a nice line on it. It's getting a lot of lift there, though.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that'll work out just fine. Marshall play it out wide just like Tyler did and get a pretty similar result. No forward skip though. It hit the ground and that wind didn't let it go forward at all.
Joe having to go around. Oh, caught the top branches.
I think he just got a little bit of a lift out of that headwind again. TK again trying to keep it a little low.
He barely tosses it and the wind just takes it. A layup from Joe. Oh.
See if Tyler can get something here. Again, this is straight into the headwind, so that putt seems a lot longer than it looks.
That's a great birdie.
Yeah. So let's see if TK can get it up high enough with that.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Dropped it in perfect.
And Joe's
Very
going to have to
nice.
come up and tap out his bogey.
I'm sure a bogey on a hole like this is really disappointing.
And that brings Ty within one stroke.
Yeah. Closing the gap a little there between Tyler and Joe.
And here we
And
come
TK's
to the
not
hardest
too far
hole
off
of
either.
the round.
None of them are.
The hardest hole.
Did this one rank as the hardest?
Yes, indeed.
That's because even if you're at 20 feet, you don't want to run that putt.
This is the closest basket to the creek at about 5 feet.
Yeah, if that. And that's the most common play. Just
extra safe.
yeah, bailing out left and no fear of the out of bounds until your approach shot. And there's a
That's
lot
gonna
of
be a
it
tricky
then.
layup too.
Yeah, in this wind, there's no easy layup. I like that. Nice and wide. Got the... Oh, and just would not let it skip forward. Marshall learned a little something from TK there. Ooh, and he got a good skip. See, now that's almost worse than being far out, in my opinion.
Now you're,
You're
close,
tempted
you have
to run
go
it.
for it almost.
And Joe just kind of playing it out wide. It's almost like he's playing for a 3 there. Yeah, just didn't even hesitate, laid it up. Ooh.
Ooh.
Good thing the creek was down, because I think right now that would have actually been underwater, the amount of moisture we've been having the last couple of days.
Ooh.
Oh.
That was such a ballsy putt.
Yeah. He didn't hesitate at all either. He marked and he threw it. It's one of those don't let me think about it
There's
moments.
at least a good wind angle here.
Yeah. Clean up his par.
It's all pars in the hardest hole of the round. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that'll definitely help the morale out a little bit. But on a hole this short, you know they're still bumming that they didn't get the birdie.
I think there might have been one birdie this whole round.
Only one, huh? Wow. Doesn't surprise me though. You gotta be in just the right position or you don't even really want to run that one. So still just one, even 1, 2, 3, 4. Just one, one stroke separating each player. Going into hole 15. Another short little one, but very guarded basket. So you want to get around those bushes, put it just around that tree on the left there, and then cut hard to the right. That's a really good looking play. Oh, just
Hey,
caught up a
but
little.
it's on the good side of it.
Yeah, he should have a look there. Not too much obstruction. And Thumber is definitely a good choice here because it comes in almost straight down most of the time. Ooh. And yeah, just perfect. And Marshall breaking out a lefty throw.
Oh,
Yeah, the problem with doing that is that you haven't warmed the lefty throw up at all. He kind of pulled out a cold arm. It was worth a shot, though. I'm not good enough lefty to have that problem myself. Joe trying the Thumber, just didn't quite cut to the right like he was hoping.
now Marshall is coming in from OB through all those bushes. That's a decent upshot.
Yeah. Joe from just outside the circle with his infamous step putt.
That got beaten down.
Yeah, it was straight headwind, so you show the top of that disc at all and it's not going anywhere. See if Tyler can keep that nose up a little. Oh, too much.
Why is there a fourth disc there?
If I remember right, Marshall wasn't sure about the other side of the creek, so he played a provisional just in case. So that was the one from the inbounds spot, and that was the one that mattered, so.
Yep.
Because us locals all know that the other side of the creek on that one is out of bounds. But he's from Denver, so he's not as familiar with our course rules, so. Always a good idea to take a provisional when you're unsure and then ask the TD when you're done. So here's hole 16, and it's a pretty short hole. It's usually pretty simple, but in this headwind, I can't say that it would be.
It's the sixth easiest hole of the day, so it's not too bad.
Okay. Whew, and he almost dropped it right on that one, too. Those thumbers are working good for him.
Round.
It's definitely a good tool to have.
That needs to get down.
Yeah. Oh, that's really fortunate. You can see that it's pretty much straight headwind, a little bit right to left, just looking at how Joe's clothes are blowing around. Oh, turn that one over. A little too much.
Hit the tree, but he caught through it to the good side.
Oh, Marshall's trying to keep it under that wind and kept it a little too low. We must have missed Marshall's upshot. He's a quick thrower. Sometimes he's hard to keep up with.
Oh, no.
That was a good bid, yeah. TK puts another birdie in. I think that's 2 in a row for him there. This wind, that's doing really good.
Good par cleanup.
Here we got Joe and Marshall coming to clean up their pars. And again, as short as these holes are, you know they came into this round expecting to be double digits under by now.
That is a birdie hole if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't happening that day.
Well, the last couple have been really.
And this one's actually in its short position as
Yeah,
well, which
so
makes it a birdie
makes
hole.
it very birdieable. It says 273 on the signs. I feel like it might be a little less than that, but it is kind of downhill.
Yeah, it just plays
so
shorter because that drop.
It's not a huge
Feels
drop,
like a
but a little
250.
bit. Right. TK breaking out the thumber again. Looks like it's going to work out just fine once again.
Oh, man.
That branch almost put him right in the basket. This is another great hole if you got a sidearm. It makes this hole so much easier.
It's one of the holes that made me learn a sidearm.
Oh, came up just a little short though.
There are more little windows and tunnels there than it seems.
As long as you
not a
get
clear
far
shot.
enough to the right, or if you're still far enough left, but that big tree on the corner
See,
might be...
Annie can get there.
Yeah, I'd say that got there.
Oh, yeah. The Annie has a bigger risk of going deep,
Right.
which I feel like this is about to head deep. Oh, tree.
It was trying to go deep. That'll work, though.
And he actually didn't get as deep into there as I thought he did.
Yeah, he's almost worse off. If he'd have gone further to the right, he might have had a better window.
Oh.
Marshall cleaning up a birdie there. Joe and TK pretty much have just drop-in birdies.
Those were beautiful drives.
Yeah.
Hi, Dale. See you in the background.
Yeah, luckily on this one I didn't have to go far because I'm standing almost right next to the next basket.
And this basket is a temporary basket they had specifically for the Wyoming Classic layout, and I kind of like it. It's a short little tunnel shot all the way down with an OB left creek, all the way down.
Well, and kind of dramatic too. You got a very aceable hole with two of our players tied at 4 under. TK just went 3 in a row birdie wise, so they're finally starting to get something going back here. And yeah, that should finish him out
over
with
the base.
Yeah, that should finish him out with a birdie. And Joe just putting what I have to assume is a putter,
Yeah.
maybe a mid. I guess it could be a rock.
It's more of a tailwind. I would expect all these guys, except for TK and his thumber, of course,
Right.
to be throwing putters.
Oh!
That was the worst kick.
Yeah, it just bounced off one of those little stubs of a bush.
That looks good.
Yeah. From that flight, I have to assume... Oh, yeah. I have to assume those were probably all putters. Except for, like you said, TK. Oh, no. Joe will clean up his birdie. Get Marshall to clean up his double bogey to finish out.
Puts him back in the red for the round, I believe.
I believe so. TK cleaning up his 4th birdie in a row. So that was nice though. 3 birdies on the final hole. We got Tyler at 3 down and Marshall at 2 up.
And then Joe and TK tied at 5 down.
Yeah, Joe and
that's a good
TK
round.
at 5 down. In the win they dealt with, that's a really good round.
Well, and it's only going to get worse for the next round because it's the same day, pretty much the same weather, and more elevation to deal with. So you kind of have to.
It got windier as we went, and Joe and TK still are tied at 3rd, whereas the people that went out earlier had a much easier round.
Jacob Rowley absolutely.
Jacob shot a hot round,
Calvin
proving
at a
it.
7 down as well. I wish we could watch them throw in the next round, but with having tee times for 2 rounds in one day, we didn't have enough time to switch the cards. So we will be tracking the same 4 players, Tyler, Joe, and Marshall, in the next episode, quote unquote, the next round. We'll see you guys there. following those guys through Romero Park.
Yep, come and enjoy watching them throw around at Romero. Let's see how they handle the wind on an even more open course.